Let's jumpstart this Monday with a price analysis on BEPRO, Polkamarkets, and Polkadex. Who's ready? Let's try that again. Who's ready? Yes, scream at your screen. It's perfectly fine. I can totally hear you. Let's go! I'm on the weekly chart on BEPRO. I have a couple of horizontals on and the weekly 10 EMA. Very quick analysis on this. From an investor standpoint, that means I don't trade. I don't like to click buy and sell very often, or I only like to click buy. From an investor standpoint, my rule of thumb to be interested in a crypto from an investor standpoint is not met here. You don't have 3 weekly closures above the weekly 10. If you're not going to trade this, then you shouldn't be interested in it. From a Pokemon card standpoint, not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. This still has a great risk of coming up to the weekly 10 EMA, this red line, and bouncing down, boom, boom, boom. And then the weekly 10 it traps it here, forms a triangle, and it busts down, and it comes down, what is that, 60% more? I mean, from current price, that's 70. Yeah, this could easily go down 70% more throughout 2022. From an investor standpoint, the rule of interest, the rule of being interested in an asset has not been satisfied. You don't have 3 closures above the weekly 10, period. Now, from a trading perspective, this looks very tradable. It honestly, BEPRO looks like it's going to potentially get a 45% bounce here. It looks like it really wants to get it. And again, this is the weekly. And if you zoom into this part, you'll notice that the weekly candles closed above the bottom of this support line, this support box. But the dailies gave some scares. The daily candles did not. You see how many closures were below there? That looked like it was getting ready to fall off a cliff and go down to the next support line. You see that? However, weekly counts more. That doesn't look bad. It looks like it's going to get a push. And from current price just to the top of the box is a totally respectable trade. Look. That's 11%. No, just an hour ago, that was 16%. So I guess it's moving up fairly aggressively right now. But that's still a respectable trade. I would be happy. Okay, if you could trade for 10% increase a day, you'd be a millionaire fast. Do you know that? Therefore, 10% trade is a damn respectable trade, by the way. And that's why I'm identifying the difference between bounce and recovery and also investor versus trading. From a trading perspective, yeah, this looks like a good time to seek an entry, but from an investor standpoint, it simply doesn't, folks. And the difference between investor and trader here, a lot of times those align. Sometimes both things align at the same time. Both investors and traders who know what they're doing would be interested at the same time. In this case, a trader and an investor who knows what he and she are doing, she, the investor, would say, hell no, and he, the trader, would say, heck yeah. In this type of moment, that means bounce. When they don't agree, that means it's bounce. When they do agree, that means a macro low, and it's a reversal back to the upside. And this is not some reversal signal. It's not even close, folks. However, this looks like a setup for a very tradable bounce. I would sell into the rally. I would be interested in BEPRO flirting around with the weekly 10, and if you're more interested in that, then what you would want to do is you would want to go ahead and make sure you join the community here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this a little bit out of order, but I have up to 8 live calls a week. You can turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly in live. Links to the description section within all of my videos on Discord. But if a community is not your thing and you want exclusive content above and beyond what I offer on YouTube, click the join button below this video to have another video pop up to describe your options to you. And also make sure you just freaking follow me on Twitter, 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐵2. I give frequent updates. I post my YouTube videos on there in case you don't like using the alerts on YouTube, and I give other altcoin updates as well on there, particularly during altcoin season. And what we'll do here is I want you to take a quick moment to go ahead and hit the like button. I told you I did this out of order. I kind of did it on purpose, though. It's a good segue. Like button. It's going to help me continue making videos for you. And if you do like seeing BEPRO videos, which I'm among the only YouTubers to pseudo regularly cover it, make sure returning viewers particularly, or especially, hit the like button for me so I can continue doing this. Because I am, there is strong incentive for me to not cover altcoins anymore. That's why I'm not covering them as much. So help a guy out here if you want to continue seeing these videos with any type of frequency at all, and leave me a quick comment down below to help out the algo. It can simply mean it could simply be random. Oh, I saw a great random comment the other day. It was soft eggs. Somebody wrote soft eggs. Leave me beat that one. Let's see if you can get a better random comment than soft eggs. Or another good one was something about my mom's stew, something. Wrote a short story, a 2-sentence story about his mom's stew. Help out the algo for me in that fashion. And if you like BEPRO or any of these coins I'm covering in today's analysis, make sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell, because I deliver time-sensitive information. And if you want it delivered in a time-sensitive fashion, you got to hit bell and select all alerts. Let's dive back in. It should be on the left-hand side now. Let's get BEPRO back behind me. And let's dive into Polkamarkets. Polkamarkets lost its whole run, unfortunately. I'm not really for sure what to think about it. But also, from an investor standpoint, let's get rid of this. And I'll keep this horizontal. We don't need this horizontal. Let's just keep that. From an investor standpoint, once again, that means you don't want to click buy and sell too often, right? You don't have 3 closures above this red line. Therefore, if you don't plan to trade, even once or twice a month, and make a buy and sell type of deal, buy plus sell together, okay? So it's not a trade if you just hit buy. Hitting buy is not a trade. If you don't plan on actually buying and selling once or twice within a month, this is not ready. It's not even ready to consider, okay? It's not even close. From a trading perspective, I mean, price is at a pretty damn solid horizontal right now with 3 weekly closures back here. This could get a good bounce, and it probably would be if it were to happen along with Bitcoin. That's potential 70% trade. Now, this has a little bit less price history than BEPRO, and most of the price history is just like straight down with one little run here. It's a little bit different because BEPRO had like a year plus going sideways and establishing a point of support down below what current price is. And this came out, during when did it come out? It didn't come out in March 2021, did it? Oh yeah, it came out right around Wyckoff, I guess. Came out in a very unfortunate time. So there's not much going down here. But imagine, BEPRO has price history down here. So Polk is at definite threat, something relative, is at definite threat to having price discovery to the downside. It could easily break this all-time low. Therefore, from an investor standpoint, you don't want to be interested in this until this red line, which is the weekly 10, has a neutral slope or positive slope, and price has gotten above it. And guess what? Because it's a negative slope, it's more probable than not that when that happens, it'll be down, like it could be way down here, folks. You could get some pump, something like that, and by the time it gets multiple closures on it, it could be May 2022 or longer, and the weekly 10 could be so much lower than it is right now. However, from a trading perspective, not in day trader, this could literally take 30 minutes total throughout a month to trade this, to make one trade within a month. This does look like it has a chance to have a pretty serious bounce here, actually. This is a setup for a potentially pretty good trade. And if you take a look at the weekly stochastics, I mean, they are way down there, which doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't just buy in. If you ever see anybody on YouTube say, oh, the RSI and the Stokes are way down there, it's great. No. Sometimes the move is only half over, and the second half is even more aggressive than the first half when Stokes and RSI on the weekly or any time frame are way down. That doesn't mean jack shit. However, you do have on the daily, though, to support the idea that it could be at the precipice of turning around. You do have some higher lows here. And that's kind of the hallmark. Okay, so you get to tie the higher low. and it's getting ready to break above its EMA, which indicates that the weekly Stokes, in turn, because the daily RSI has multiple higher low or some higher lows here, it means the weekly could be at the precipice of making an upswing. Does that make sense? Just because the weekly stuff is low doesn't mean it's a good time to buy. It could mean the move down is getting ready to heat up. But in concert with or conjunction to, I'm not good with prepositions in English, sorry. In conjunction with the daily RSI, it does indicate that this weekly, the weekly being so low on stochastics and RSI, does have a good chance of being, a point where it could easily turn up. And this could create a decent move, all right? And it would be technically, using the same indicators, a little bit bigger than BEPRO's move. And again, I'm on the day. Now let's go back to the weekly chart. And I cannot stress enough, not from an investor standpoint, but rather from a trader standpoint, not a day trader, but somebody at least willing to put 1 hour into clicking around with his or her money throughout a month with some analysis, targeting the weekly 10 for a profit-taking point, that could end up being a pretty darn big trade. It really could. And if you are interested in, stuff like that, whether it's to accumulate stuff from Tether or dollar or stable coin standpoint, or to accumulate crypto itself, and you are asking, well, shit, should I set stops? Where should I set them? Where exactly could you write the numbers in, for, could you write the numbers in for exact profit-taking points? Well, guess what? That's what I do on Discord. I did that this morning for a VIP who joined my VIP morning check-in, and I did that for BEPRO. And he asked me, is this a good setup? And I said, actually, you know what, it is. And there you go. And I gave exact stops. I put 4 stops in for him. I suggested where I would put 4 stops. Let's rephrase. And I suggested my profit-taking points if I were in that trade. And I actually let him know I think I might end up trying to take that trade, but I ended up skipping out on it. So that's what we got for Polk. It looks like it could end up being a good setup. However, you would want to use risk management. I'm not going to give you those levels for YouTube content. And so if you're somebody who, like a freeloader like I was for over 4 years, I don't mean freeloader in a bad way. I simply never joined a community. I didn't realize the benefit of it, and therefore didn't feel the need to, because I didn't realize what they were. If you're one of those people, that's perfectly fine. So was I, until I was literally forced into being a content creator. Just make sure you use risk management, and don't allow, like a hint, don't allow yourself to lose more than 5%. Losing 5% on a trade is it's disastrous over time. And anything less is better. Okay. You shouldn't be losing more than 5% on a trade, even an aggressive trade. And let's move on to PDEX. PDEX is a little different. I don't know what to think about this chart. So what I've done with PDEX is I've drawn a macro range throughout its whole life. It's at the 1/4 line, getting ready to, it looks like it wants to hit the 1/8 line. That's what it looks like to me. It looks saggy. It looks like it's getting rejected from the 1/4. So this is the 1/4 line right here. I guess I don't really need EMAs when I'm using ranges, unless it's my ribbons, I guess. I kind of like ribbons plus ranges. It doesn't look like it's using that as support unless I've drawn this wrong. Maybe that is. Yeah, maybe it could. Yeah, maybe that's. It looks like it's up higher though. I think this is the 1/4 line right there. I don't know. It looks like it might lose it, and it almost looks like it wants to come down to the 1/8 line. So I'd have to draw another one. But with the momentum of traditional markets and Bitcoin, it does kind of, I would, with that momentum of other assets, not this one, I would assume that it wants to come up to the point of control. However, this chart, just for the chart, I would assume that this is going to come down. This doesn't really look healthy. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It looks like it's going to go down more. And it looks like it really, over time could break out of this range and have price discovery to the downside, unfortunately. And therefore, from an investor standpoint, I don't know if I would be interested in this until it has 3 weekly closures, 3 weekly candle closures over the weekly 10 EMA. I will put that line on. Here we go. And I will link you to how to set up a chart like mine at the end. I mean, yeah, like an investor who's not planning on buying and selling at least a couple times a week, putting in 2 hours a month of time, perhaps more hours a month looking at charts and learning, but actually clicking around 2 hours a month, yeah, it's not over this red line. This red line, it's below it, and it's probably going to keep going lower. And because of that, because it has a negative slope, it's very, very likely by the time PDEX gets over that line, it could be lower than this whole range. I'm telling you. I know it's hard to believe, but from an investor standpoint, I wouldn't go after this. From a trading standpoint, I don't know if I'd go after this either. It doesn't. Yeah, you got a possible higher low. And I guess this is a good example to tell you when something is confirmed or not confirmed. This is not a higher low. But Tim, it's a low and it's higher than that. Well, it is higher. The second part is correct. The first part is not. It's not a low because the tick up has not happened, and that tick up did not get locked in. You need a green day to close for it to tick up to start to happen, and then it's confirmed. You have to wait a whole day. At this point, okay, so let's say today's candle closes, and the next one opens and starts green. Well, okay, tomorrow's candle. Here, let me zoom way in here. Watch. This is actually kind of important. It would start off like this. That didn't work. Start off like. It would start off like that, but that's an opening to the candle. And what happens if the day flips red after 4 hours? Right back to that. The day has to close, and so because it doesn't have a tick up, and the tick up hasn't closed, it could keep going lower. And then what could happen the next day? I thought I copied that. I guess you can't copy and paste within the RSI itself. Then the next one could go also tick up, but then it flips red again, and then you have a lower low. And that's why this is not a low. This is not a higher low. Is the current low higher than that low? Yes, but this is not a low. A current low is not a low. That's simply where it happens to be, right? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be interested in getting into this from a trading perspective. This is not looking great. That's on the daily chart. The weekly chart, just as bad. Yeah, and if we zoom way in here and take off the EMAs, it looks to me like it's going to lose this line. And this is probably going to fall victim of not being in the spotlight on YouTube, and it's going to keep coming down. It looks like it's going to hit the bottom of the range, or at least at bare minimum hit the 1/8 line around 641. And so this is by far the weakest one. BEPRO and POLK looked like they could get some pretty serious bounces. And if you want to check out how to set up a chart just like mine, help you out so much in crypto in just 28 minutes, I promise you it's a damn good video. It's a really good trading view tutorial that I made. 28 minutes of your life. Check this out, how to set up a chart like mine. And check out my last Bitcoin analysis right here if you didn't catch that, and hit the circle in the middle if you're new to my channel to subscribe. You just got Timified worldwide. Peace.